Welcome everyone to the regular meeting Monday, July 28th, 2025 for the Village Trustees at 6 p.m. I call the regular meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review. Anybody need to add anything to the agenda or move it?
No.
Nope. Public comment.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your comments. Number 4, approve and accept minutes for Monday, July 14th, 2025, meeting as presented.
I will make the motion that we approve the minutes from Monday, July 14th, 2025, meeting as presented.
And I will second that motion.
All right, we have a first and a second to apply to accept the minutes for Monday, July 14th, 2025. Any further discussion about those minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 5, approve and accept village warrants through Thursday, July 24th, 2025.
I move that we approve and accept the village warrants through Thursday, July 24th, 2025.
And I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second to accept the village warrants through Thursday, July 24th, 2025. Any further discussion about the warrants?
This time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Number 6, Swanton Village Police Department update with Chief Matthew Sullivan.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. So you will find the packets for both the village and the town in front of you. In looking at the village, your top 10 incident types: 20 suspicious, 11 welfare check, 11 citizen assist, 10 motor vehicle complaint, 9 agency assist, 7 VIN inspections, 6 citizen disputes, 6 traffic stops, 5 threatening, and 5 thefts. There were 150 incidents in total. Out of the 6 traffic stops, 11 tickets were issued and 5 warnings. There were 14 arrests representing 14 individuals and 22 charges out of those 14 arrests. Looking at the town for the month of June, you'll see the top 10 incident types: 21 traffic stops, 12 agency assists, 10 directed patrols, 6 suspicious incidents, 4 crashes, 4 alarms, 3 motor vehicle complaints, 3 trespassing, 2 medical emergency, and 2 citizen assists. There were 91 incidents in total, 21 traffic stops. Out of those 21 traffic stops, there were 5 tickets issued and 20 warnings. There were 10 arrests representing 10 individuals and 12 criminal charges in total. 6 of those arrests were associated with traffic enforcement, and there were 12.25 additional service hours provided to the town during the month of June. Just an update in general, we have just acquired a new to us used cruiser. So rather than buying a new cruiser and with upfit, they're in excess of $70,000 at this point, maybe just shy of $80,000. We ended up getting a 2021 Chevy Tahoe from a company in Chicago, and this was a used cruiser out of Florida, so it is very, very clean. It's not like it was coming out of the Northeast where you get a lot of rust. So that's a pretty good savings and a pretty good value. 2 is actually in the process of being sold, Cruiser 2 to Swanton Village Fire Department.
They don't know about that yet. It's on next 2 weeks.
Oh, it is.
But thank you.
Well, it's been an ongoing discussion, so so now you know. But they definitely are interested in that, because although it's getting up there in age, it was the SRO vehicle. Recently, we haven't had any problems. We have had substantial problems with some of the newer cruisers. Our 2021 Ford has had multiple issues, and it's currently, I believe, still at New Car, where we've asked them to either replace the transmission with, I want to say it's below 50,000 miles, or or they're gonna have to let them roll the car, because it's been outrageous, the amount of engine work and transmission work on that vehicle. So we have had issues with the newer cruisers. And it's certainly not just us, I think it's across the board with those Ford cruisers, which is unfortunate. But so the fleet is a little tender in that respect, and Cruiser 1 is also aging out. And then our K9 Cruiser is also getting up there also, so it's difficult to stay on top of it, especially with the current price of these cruisers. But I think that the used cruisers offer a really good value, if you can find these clean used cruisers.
Right.
We did, it was a surprise, we had a Vermont Criminal Justice Council decided to audit our training records. So that was a little bit of a surprise, didn't give us a ton of notice, but that happened in early July. They came up and we were able to give them the packet of information that they requested, which was very extensive. It probably took me at least 5 to 6 hours to put together. And they were up here for a considerable amount of time going through that information. And it is difficult, right? So you're required to have 30 hours of training per year and then training within specific disciplines for a certain amount of time. And so sometimes, especially with our part-timers, they'll fall behind, and then we're rolling hours. I have to request waivers from the Vermont Criminal Justice Council, and then they're working on hours in the next calendar year for the previous calendar year, and still have to make up the mandatory 30 hours required training. So it can be a little difficult to track everything and keep it straight. But I believe we passed with flying colors, because I haven't heard anything from the VCJC. so it seemed like the audit went well. Another thing of interest is one of our part-timers, Kelly Bedell. She just completed the forensic interviewing class, and so she is going to take on some more newsy cases so that we can assist with that. Swanton is generally a small chunk, I don't even know what the percentage is of those newsy cases. So having somebody with that forensic interview training, which is very specific to interviewing children especially, and victims of sexual violence essentially, is going to be very helpful. So I think it's one of the most important jobs, and so she's looking at taking on that caseload a little bit, and there's a $20,000 in grant money to fund her time dedicated to newsy cases.
Good.
So that's good that we have that. Additionally, our other newer officer who is in field training, my understanding is she is doing very well, Brittany Allen. So no issues, and I think she's going to do very well, and hopefully we'll be able to get her to have the VCJC waive her to a level 3, because she was a full-time officer in Massachusetts for 3 years prior to moving up here. So that's going well. We have another officer another individual, a candidate who is interested. We're just struggling trying to schedule an interview. So hopefully we get that going, and hopefully they seem like a very strong candidate. They're currently a full-time EMT, and it would be great if they were interested in full-time work here in the police department.
Yeah. Just a question, the 12 and a quarter additional service hours, were they requested or they?
No, so it's part of our contract now. I mean, in some sense requested as part of the contract with the town. So 2 hours a week, I want to say, minimum. But it depends on the case. So some of these cases we've taken on, like I think I discussed one of the domestics I had, I don't know if it was in June, or I think it was in June rather than July, but for example, a woman was assaulted by her partner in the Riverside Cemetery, which technically during the daytime, it's outside of our patrol. It would normally be a state police incident, but she escaped from her partner and came running to the police department looking for assistance. And so in a case like that, we just took that case and handled it, but it took all day to investigate that case and put the paperwork together to hold that individual responsible for that domestic assault. So we do provide, it's a varying number of service hours. I would have to look at the contract to look at the exact amount, but we try to hit at least 2 hours a week and additional service hours for the town as part of the contract.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure you know, your crew, you and your crew are not spread so thin. You know.
No, we're definitely
that you
spread
get
thin.
frazzled. I know you are, I know you
That's
are.
it.
That's why I asked the question. You guys are spread very thin, and, you know, if these are simply requested hours, you know, maybe we have the discussion, you know, if we need to maybe reduce them for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it is part of the contract. I mean, we've done a pretty good job, I want to say, at hitting that number. Last year, it was part of the contract also, so we provided probably over what we were obligated to provide per the contract. So, I mean, I would still love to see the town take us on full-time. I think it would be beneficial for the citizens. I think it would be beneficial for Vermont State Police. We still have this, I don't want to say contentious is not the right word, but, you know, this push and pull over responsibility for incidents, and we try to help each other out, but at the same time, both agencies are spread thin, right? Vermont State Police and we are.
Yeah.
Still struggling to cover our shifts on the weekends that are open. So realistically, in an ideal world, it would be great if we had 3 on every evening shift and 2 on every day shift, plus me, because that would really assure good coverage all the time, and we wouldn't be scrambling for coverage when somebody called out sick or was on vacation, or we wouldn't be struggling to fill those day shifts on the weekends.
Right. I don't like having you cover shifts on the weekend.
Well, I haven't covered a ton of them recently.
No, but you
I
have.
think I have, yeah, but the issue too is, so for example, sometimes we will get part-timers to step up and take those shifts, but a lot of times it's last minute. So I've already kind of planned to step in and cover if need be. Officer Gilbert has covered a lot of those shifts himself on an overtime basis, but again, I mean, he's doing it on a somewhat voluntary basis. We don't order officers to cover those shifts, but he's definitely working quite a bit of hours covering those shifts also. So I personally appreciate the fact that he's stepping up to cover those shifts, but you know, he's definitely spreading himself thin as far as coverage goes. So it would be great, but again, it's difficult for the evening shift guys, and I understand, right? It's that balance of personal life versus professional life, which I certainly struggle with. So those guys definitely, you know, and certainly the younger generation, they really value their personal time as opposed to spending, you know, a majority of their time at work. But this is a demanding job. It's difficult for sure. It's not like a lot of other jobs or occupations. So.
I just don't want to see I don't want to see you or any of your crew getting burned out because they're working way too much.
Yeah, I think
because we need to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, again, in an ideal world, it would be being able to hire more people, but it's difficult in this work environment. Also, this hiring environment is difficult. There aren't a lot of people that are interested in going into law enforcement. So thankfully we have had a little bit of interest. I mean, obviously this is a great place to work. I think the benefits are great, comparable to any other agency. Our pay is comparable to St. Albans, so we're definitely in the ballpark as far as that goes. But it's just getting people who are interested in the profession, you know, and want to dedicate a career to policing. So it's certainly a challenge, and has been for a few years now.
I just wanted to at least, you know, we see the stress and, you know, the quality of life is not the balance is not there. I mean, we see that, and, you know, we don't know how to fix it. So if we had 2 more officers, it might look a lot different. But I think, you know, we want you to know that, you know, we see, you know, we're I don't want to say we're watching, but we see. So.
Yeah, and our goal is always to, you know, provide high quality police services for the village and the town. And I think our officers do a great job at it. They really do solid casework. But it is demanding, and that's the other complication with law enforcement is, of course, we're interacting with the criminal justice system, and so that's kind of that part of it is a little bit beyond our control. We have a great working relationship with the state's attorney's office, You know, it can be frustrating when officers do a lot of work and we're dealing with repeat offenders and they're not really being held accountable for their behavior.
Yeah.
And that's certainly what led one of our officers to drop from full-time to part-time, was his level of frustration. So it's a challenging job.
Yeah. So, but no, we have your back, whatever, you know, whatever we need to do.
Yep, well, we appreciate it. We appreciate the support.
That's all I got.
Thumbs up.
Appreciate the help at Boundary Street earlier in the week. No.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
been a few things
Yeah.
recently.
Was idling for 12 hours.
Yeah. Well, by the time we got to it, I mean, that's another thing, it was shut off. So the vehicle was shut off.
I'd gotten a phone call and I went over.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my, okay. Yeah, I moved that back there at 7 o'clock.
yeah.
Got distracted. Never went back.
So was it your vehicle?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sat there idling for
Yeah.
12 hours in the middle of the parking lot. It's just when you get to the other side of the building, if you don't go back,
Yeah.
you can't see anything. So I know, I really appreciate that. Luckily, it didn't run out.
No, it is a good thing.
And
So,
the
yeah.
drug activity is status quo.
It is consistent. I mean, it keeps popping up. Unfortunately, it's these individuals that suffer from substance use disorder, and they really are in the throes of that. And so the issue is when we get these people into our community, then a lot of the complications and criminal activity will a lot of times be centered on their locations.
Yep.
So it's certainly, we've had some problem spots. I mean, the motel, quite frankly, being a voucher motel, has caused a lot of issues. You do the occupants there, again, it's people who are struggling and need assistance, but again, they really need to make the decision ultimately that they're willing
Right.
to engage with services and get the help they need, and that's certainly our preference. But it creates issues in the community.
Yeah.
So you'll solve one, and one group will move out. Like we had on York Street, for example, there was a location there that was a problem property that we were responding to on a regular basis, and that one resolved itself. And then we had another one pop up on Camden Street that's currently being addressed, and hopefully will be resolved soon, given the conversations that we've had recently today, actually. So I'm hopeful, but we try to come at these things from creative angles, and address them within the law.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I ask you enough questions during the day.
Have a good night.
You
too.
too. Take care.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, number 7, review and approve alternative number 1 or alternative number 3 for Emergence Road Bridge number 6.
So if I may, this is a follow-up to the presentation that we had at the last meeting. I will say, and I think everybody agrees, that the state of Vermont brought their A-team. That consultant and those 2 state workers answered every possible question. There were very few questions after their presentation. So it's pretty clear what the alternatives are. It was pretty clear, and they were very articulate as to what our options are. I sent this as part of the advanced package to you. And essentially, what it allows and what it affords is a middle ground. So if we go with the first option, which was the overlay, so that high density concrete, no blacktop on top, remember you're stuck with the same guardrails unless you pay to upgrade them, and the same sidewalk, but the rest will be a bridge that will last for the foreseeable future, with construction in either 2027 or 2028. So the big change in this update, and we'll post this online for people to see because it's a really good communication, is that they say that we would still qualify for the 2.5% share, even if we did a modified closure. So for example, if we did one-way traffic off hours as needed to prep the bridge, but then completely closed for only 3 or 4 days while they poured the concrete overlay, it would still qualify for 2.5%, which is significant. So,
Say that again, I'm sorry.
so you know how if we allow one-way traffic throughout the duration of the project, we pay 5%.
Yep.
So in this case, it was, well, when they presented, it was either or. Either
Yep.
you shut it down or you allow one-way traffic. Now it's a hybrid. You can allow one-way traffic throughout the project with the exception of the 4 days where you're doing the concrete pour over. So it's a combination, which might extend the project. Honestly, in complete candor, I think citizens will come to realize that it's more onerous to drive around. And I'm not sure that they're gonna be more inclined to visit a business after waiting 8 miles in traffic coming from West Swanton, but perhaps. But it gives you the flexibility of deciding that you wanna embrace a hybrid option. But I think for tonight, the decision-making is that option or the more long-term option where we maintain at our cost at 100% till 2035, and then you get the bridge option that's a little more comprehensive with a new sidewalk and new railing.
There wasn't an option to add or upgrade the side? Did I misunderstand that?
No, you can, you're gonna pay for either a portion of that or all of it. I don't think there is any option to upgrade the sidewalk. I think the sidewalk is what it is. I think you have an option to upgrade your railing.
I think the only way you upgrade the sidewalk is to widen it, which is
Not part of this project.
Super-
not part,
Superstructure.
yeah.
Right.
It's quite
This-
wide now.
Yeah.
Sure. It's perfectly fine.
My concern is the railings. I don't wanna be in a situation or be put in a, excuse me, be put in a situation where, you know, we do the rehab and then a year from now, the state comes back and says, you know, your railings suck.
Right.
You know, and now we've gotta come up with the money to do it.
I think if we can add the option of the handrail upgrade, that seems like a good compromise right there. And certainly you can afford that versus the extra extension for slowing it down. And from conversations I've had with businesses, they would prefer not to drag this out. Businesses like.
Yeah, there was one business at the meeting
Yeah.
2 weeks ago where, you know, I asked the question,
Yeah,
would you prefer 12 months or 4 months? Everybody said 4 months, so.
I think that what we got back from feedback from last year and what we saw and witnessed and what you guys planned, Public Works put together and Matt and everybody at the P.E.G put together, I think worked really, really well. And I think people really appreciated not getting stuck in traffic. They could get to where they wanted to go. I think those businesses downtown, if it gets to be like there's lines but the people are just gonna I'm not going Swanton, gonna avoid Swanton at all costs. But if you could get to where you needed to go without having to get stuck in traffic for a half an hour, 45 minutes, I think people keep going to the businesses. You know, the businesses I did pull downtown, a lot of them said they had no effect at all on their business for the couple weeks that was closed. And it's actually a shorter period, the less inconvenience.
Right, I mean, I understand that you polled the businesses and they said that, but we had a business owner here
A
2 weeks
business.
ago who said that they had a major strain on their business. We can't discount that just because the majority say they were fine. So I think we have to weigh all of the options really carefully about what we're going to do. And I like the idea of option number 1 because the price point that we're asking our taxpayers to pay is less than the price point of number 3. I can't justify raising the price $140,000 just to have one-way traffic coming in. I can't justify that. But if we can keep it closed for 4 days and then do the one-way traffic, I think that's the best of both worlds.
I agree.
Is that the option?
Yeah, so if you look on page 3 of the handout, the construction approach was up to the point where you do the overpour. They would do eastbound would be the one-way on the bridge, westbound would be the detour. So coming from West Swanton, same BB Road detour, same exact thing that we did last time. The only difference is when you're going the other way, you're gonna get in the line and you're gonna go across the bridge one lane. So that flow might make a tremendous amount of sense. And then for the 4 days, 3 to 4 days where they're pouring the, that high density stuff, then it's all closed.
But doesn't it make it more problematic, more costly, and more timely for the construction crews and everybody else?
It does. We would be responsible for 5% of the
Safety
additional,
and everything else for the public.
detour. Yeah, I think it's a balance.
Doesn't make a lot of logic to go through that. I think the public kind of learned how the system worked last summer, and they liked it a lot from the feedback.
I think if we can leave one end open, even if we extend it from 4 months to 5 months, I think having the open lane is gonna help. If we close it for the 3 or 4 days for the overlay
Yeah.
and still get our 2.5%,
Yeah.
I think that's a really big
But that's
win.
still increasing cost. You're not gonna get the same low cost by doing that.
There will be a marked increase for traffic control, even if it's one way.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that was one of the questions I had was traffic control.
Yep.
You know, are we on the hook for
You
that?
add all those back
We're on the
in.
hook for 5% of it. So this is an option being presented to us by the state of Vermont. So they're gonna pay for 97.5% of this proposal as it's written.
And we have a valid, already pre-tested detour, and we have the signage that we paid for the detour. Then we all put back in action, we don't have to pay over again.
I'm confused on. So, the construction approach that we're looking at,
Is this one,
UHPC.
this one with
It's-
no, that this price tag with no changes. So then if we say, okay, we only want it closed for 4 days and then we want it opened, the traffic maintenance, this will go up 5%.
well, I guess that's what I wanna see is the numbers, is what it's gonna look like.
You won't see that yet. So if you read the next steps paragraph.
Yep.
So they took all the feedback from you as the Board of Trustees and the citizens that were in attendance and responded with this. So they're amending the scoping report to include this new alternative.
Okay,
And once the report is revised, they'll share it again with us for review and discussion of the preferred alternative. So they're sharing this with us now. You just gotta do, at the end of the night, if you're comfortable, making a motion, this option in 27 or 28, or the long-term option
Okay,
in 2035.
so you said that they weren't gonna do anything to the sidewalks, but it says here, new concrete curbing with,
Curb.
okay.
Remember
Bridge
that,
rail, combination bridge rail to maintain ADA compliance with sidewalk? What is that gonna look like then?
I don't know. We'll get that in the next scope. We'll make it clear in our response regardless of, well, if it's the option 2, we know we're getting new sidewalk and new decking, that our response will be that we want to ensure that the deck railing issues are addressed.
Okay, so are you looking for a motion?
I think
Yes.
So I'll make the motion that we go with option number 1, the UPC overlay with targeted substructure repairs.
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and second to go with the first option of going with the UHPC high density concrete overlay, with perhaps adding a few things.
So-
Because that wasn't in my,
So your
wasn't in-
motion is the hybrid deal, keep them one lane open?
well, he said we would get to that later. He said right now that
Oh, just,
Bill said make a motion for 1 or 2, so I'm making a motion for 1. And then when we get more information from the state, then I would propose that the 3 of us consider if we're gonna allow one-way traffic, which I think we're all kind of in agreement with, but just seeing how that changes the price tag.
yep. Okay.
Right.
right?
Okay, I get it, I get the, yeah.
In other words, we're nixing the complete project.
We're nixing the complete full superstructure replacement. I'm saying let's do the overlay substructure repair. Let's put that on the table. Let's do that motion. And then at a later date, we can decide if we're gonna have it closed for 4 days or 30 days.
Okay.
Bill? Yes?
Absolutely.
Do
Okay.
we want to add adage about this, the handrail, or do we want to say no?
No, because
No,
that'll come
because
in,
that's
that'll
gonna
come
come in when
after
we're
that.
gonna do the 30-day, 4-day or 30-day thing.
Yeah, that'll come into that, it'll come into play at that point.
So my motion is to go with option number 1, the UHPC overlay with targeted substructure repairs.
Okay.
Seconded by,
Me,
and
Just want to make sure we're clear on what the motion is. Yeah. Okay.
All right, we have a first and a second to go with the ultra high density concrete overlay, number 1. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Motion carried, go with option 1. Number 8, review and acknowledge second quarter SQUIRT report.
I acknowledge that we have reviewed the second quarter SQRP report. Well done, front office.
yes.
A second. Oh, we don't have to
We
second.
We
don't
don't
have
have a
to, we
second.
just have to acknowledge.
To acknowledge.
Yep. Oh,
Number 9, discuss promote Swanton signage.
Okay, so did you all get the little sign that was sent to you via email from Bill a while back with the swan and the,
That's the one that Earl had down
Yes,
the park on
yes,
Friday.
that one.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really just a, hey, this is what Promote Swanton wants to do, and they just want you guys to be aware, and so they would bring it here and
Yeah.
let you know that that's what it was. Did you see it?
I think I did, I may have.
All right. Do you have any questions?
No.
The town's paying for it, so we don't have
I talked with Earl at length.
okay.
Well, anytime you talk with Earl, it's
It's
at
Hallie.
length. We had a good discussion
Right, Bill?
about this on Friday night at the block party.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the display with the proposed new signage
Yes.
for the entry to the,
Yes, coming
Yeah,
into the town.
we've had this similar discussion before on how we should promote ourselves more, how good our services are, and try to
Yeah.
bring more people
Right,
into
so we're
our area.
revamping the website. So Promote Swanton started while you were not on the board. So it's me, Nicole, and Earl, and we've grabbed in some other people from like the Arts Council and businesses downtown, and we've just been discussing like how we're gonna promote this place, and so we're gonna revamp the website. We've been working with, is it EcoPixel? Bill, is that how you say it?
EcoPixel.
EcoPixel.
I don't think it matters. I think both are correct.
To change the website and just to kind of get, and so we've been doing like a business index, and next week I go around and start taking pictures of different businesses to
Okay,
sites
yeah.
of what. So that's all it is.
Okay. There's some young blood in there now.
Exactly.
All right, that's it. That's all there is to it.
Number 9, all done. Number 10, village manager update. Bill, you're on deck.
Okay, so just go through a few things here. Public Works completed the shoulder work on Lake Street in advance of paving, beginning on or about August 7th. They're going to continue the sidewalk work on Grand Avenue. They've got 12 yards coming in tomorrow for 130 more feet in the hot weather, but they got to do it, so they're going to do it. Multitude of other smaller projects continue. I send this all. So, yeah, just let you know. And they're working to refine safety policy and procedures, which, you know, we've really put an emphasis on. So we had our safety consultant here today to write the final public works policy, because we just got it, and that's for the street sweeper. So it really has to start and end with safety. The river overlook. So again, this is the wooden overlook that is in serious decline near the VFW. We talked about it last time, but we did open the RFPs and we received 3 bids for removal. This has been posted online, but for the record here, Menard Handyman and Property Services, 17,118. Vermont Construction Academy, 21,150. And Champlain Decks Rainoff Construction, 23,964. So clearly, this is a non-budgeted item, so we kind of understand now intuitively what we have. So for those that are listening, we are fiscally responsible, so this project will be delayed until we identify funding.
Yeah.
So I think the question for the trustees are, do we want to explore now removing the hazard completely? Should we try to remove that and get that out of there so people are not tempted to walk on it?
When
We
you
have,
say-
we have liability either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still.
When you say try to remove it,
Just
Remove it. It's heavier than people
Okay.
think.
oh, I know, that's
And the
why.
question, are we gonna have to,
You're gonna
we're gonna have
send
to get,
PWD down there to do it, and then they already have so much on their plate.
I think it's gotta be a crane and hauled off and
It's gotta be
just,
Could electric
Yeah.
drop, could electric come in and,
I don't know if it's strong enough.
okay.
But Gabry's Tree Service, you know,
Yep.
they
Yeah.
happen to be going down to 6 South River tomorrow afternoon. We can't get to it then, but they can do
Right.
it pretty quickly for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Taking 30
That would
minutes.
clean
grab
that
and go.
riverbank off there too, right to the right of the overlook, clear it right off to the bridge there. So
We try to every year. We cannot keep up with that undergrowth. It's,
Not as if you don't have anything else to do.
well, that's part of the problem. Every time we do a project and it falls upon, Public Works,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
they're right out straight for sure.
So, Bill, is there a design that you presented to these contractors, or are they giving you their opinion of what they're gonna build?
No, so
No
it
good
was,
design.
it was essentially apples to apples with a few restrictions. We wanted to make sure that it was composite decking material or something similar. They were allowed to use pressure treated for the frame, and they all did, with the exception of Vermont Construction Academy, which is why it was higher. They used a metal fabricated frame and composite on top. So really, it would never, so I think the lesson learned here is, if we get to the point where we think it's feasible to replace and we find some grant funding, we'll be more restrictive. If the board says the way to go is a metal frame, we'll do the RFP next time to identify that. But you would have had options here. If we had a pool of money, we'd be sitting here having a conversation about which way you want to go, knowing the metal's more expensive but more
Right.
durable.
Yeah, no, it's pretty poorly built, and the handrails are all notched and rotting away. And some of the corner ones only had about an inch and a half, because they had notched
They've been
both
beaten.
sides.
And beaten.
Like, you can't notch handrails, period.
Well, yeah.
But then, of course, it's just the quality of pressure treated material in general these days, since they did away with chromic arsenic.
Well, when Ross was there, Steve Wunsch was
It was a steep
DFA.
project.
They had the volunteer labor from
Yeah.
the building trades to put it together, so.
Hey, there's some high caliber people that came through that program. Trustee
No.
Spear, I'm one of them.
Yeah,
The,
I say we just take it out, Billy.
yeah,
So, for our notes, we'll say that the Board of Trustees approves removing the overlook and installing natural stone barriers, because we want to put something up that
Yep.
dissuades people from saying,
Yep.
I want to go stand on that pier.
Yeah.
well, the thing is like, it's not even really accessible, the pitch of the grade, everything
true.
else.
Right.
You can't safely get a
Right.
wheelchair up and down the side of that way.
Well, that's why we're saying if we put
Right.
some stones there, then it kind of keeps them,
Cover us.
yeah. And then maybe like a no entry
No trespassing
sign, no
sign.
trespass, yeah, something.
Yep. No trespassing sign, we can do that.
Yeah, that's fine, Bill.
Okay. All right, we will do that. Moving on to the brush pile. So we've entered into a contract with Barnard and Gervais LLC to begin work on the wetland buffer delineation and restoration plan at the brush pile off of Route 7. They were the lowest of the 3 bids announced, posted on our Facebook page, but again, to confirm, this was true comparison. 3 bids received, all supported, and we were referred to these 3 as experts in this area from the state of Vermont. Fitzgerald Environmental, $4,700, which excluded preparation and fees for permits. Blue Carbon Environmental, $7,000, which excluded restoration oversight. And Barnard and Gervais, $4,000, which excluded permit fees. So They have been notified, they've been given a deposit of $1,000 and they're ready to start. So for those folks that are watching at home on a recording, they'll do that, come to us, report back, talk about how far over the buffer zone we are in the state of Vermont, and give us a path to remediation and tell us what we have to do. We hope that there will be no fine or anything, we'll just make it right. And then the Board of Trustees will have a decision to make, because we hear it almost daily. People, all they want to talk about is access to the brush pile. I don't know that I could ever recommend in good conscience that you return to what we did before, because in a month, it's going to be overrun again.
Yeah, there's thought,
Key to
I've heard
access.
people saying, is it possible that we, like maybe one day a week, we have it open with somebody from PWD sitting there checking ID cards? I know it's not a good use of PWTD time, but it would be like, hey, Wednesdays, you can go and do that.
Yeah, it's a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities. We could go back to requiring people to come in, and you have a restricted number of keys and access. You give them a time, they come in, they present their ID from Swanton, attest that it's really just household, not commercial. They're allowed to go there, unlock the gate, secure it behind them. And
The
that-
only problem I think I have with that is that puts a lot of, I'm not saying I don't trust people, but it just puts a lot of trust on that Adam's not gonna go there and let his buddy from tree topping company go in after him. Do you know what I'm saying? They just,
Yeah,
so, I don't know, we'll have to think about that.
yeah,
Oh.
it's,
They're related.
yeah, we can try, we'll try that. It'll take a few seconds.
Yeah, good. Can that damn thing.
What?
Not
Yeah.
that much.
No, and I've seen actually putting the brush pile out in front of people's houses. Sticks
Well, I mean,
It's- again,
PWD
it's
is
not-
busy, they
yeah,
have
it's
a lot of
the
stuff going on this summer,
Yeah.
it's hard for them to make a swing around, pick stuff up, and also, people can't just leave their stuff out, they have to call here and say, hey, I have stuff, I live at X street, and that way Dean is told that there's stuff sitting out there to go pick up. They're not just aimlessly driving around the village looking for people's sticks and
You can always
leaves.
bring it to Hudak.
Yeah, that's what we've been trying to tell them.
Yep, bring it to Hudak,
I'm sorry, that's.
very
rude.
minimal charge, if any, so.
It should shut off for you pretty soon.
Okay.
You can hear for now if I talk loudly?
It's up on the other
As
side.
long as you speak up, at least I can make out.
Okay.
My wetlands. And now they're finding this, well, no.
Okay, I'll speak a little louder until that thing kicks off. Let's talk about hydro. So right now, as of this afternoon, I sent all of the documentation off to our FERC attorney, Paul Nolan, for review, and he's got 24 hours to turn it around and submit the filings to FERC. So what we're seeking is permission to proceed with attempted repairs. HTE is the engineering company, you all know that. We're really restricted, it's nothing we can go out to bid for. These are subject matter experts, they're the original manufacturer, treating us fairly well and very responsive to our needs. PC Construction, who was very familiar with this because they're the ones that installed it before, that gives them a significant leg up in what we're trying to do. We have our own engineer to protect our interest in the Turner Group for engineering. And then, of course, FERC has their own engineers. So what we're seeking is permission to go ahead and install the same road, draw down an additional 3 feet, 3.5 feet, restore the road that was there during the 2018 install, which they think is probably 70% there as well, already still there. And then attempt the repairs at any time during this process. Whether it's FERC, our engineer, HTE, or PC Construction, are not comfortable or they don't think the repair is feasible, we will stop that process, rework the contract with PC Construction because they have an alternative. It's either here for the duration, starting on or about August 18th. PC Construction will be on site for like 5 weeks. HDE, much shorter duration, about 10 days, 10 to 14 days. But if it fails, or anybody throws a flag up and doesn't allow us to do it, or FERC doesn't allow us to do it, we will remove the rubber bladder. Cut it up in little pieces and haul away.
Because it'll end up downstream as well.
Yeah, so that's for the public why we're doing that. It's 110 tons approximately. It will not withstand that water in it. 30,000 gallons of water go in it every time it spills, to include today. It takes 6 hours for us to drain it. We have to do it every single time to alleviate the weight on the bladder. It's just an absolute drain on, so it will not withstand ice and that heavy flow during the winter.
The weight.
And I cannot imagine what we would have to pay a company to get it out when it goes down below and downstream. In the middle of nowhere, to haul it to a riverbank, to haul it to a truck, to haul it away. So we need to avoid that. Everybody's in concurrence. So again, in good faith, they're holding that honor about August 18th for a start date till about September. We are working closely with VEPSA, Lynn and I. We had to negotiate again and go out onto the market and buy more power because we were light over the next couple of months. So we've done that twice now. And it's not like we're not generating, but our max right now is about 3. This morning was 3.3. Unit 4 is also down now because there's something stuck in the wiki gates, probably a large stick. We'll go offline. The week of the 11th, we're gonna go offline and de-water because we need to have that online. We need to have better generation in the event that it starts to, we have a rain event while they're trying to repair. So to put it in perspective, it's not just easy. You don't just say, okay, take the crane out, move it up there for the day. It doesn't work that way. They need like a day and a half, 18 to 24 hours to demobilize that crane to get it on dry land. So we'll watch the forecast very closely and adjust accordingly. I think, even though it's not a warned agenda item, we've talked about it before, the trustees should consider a motion that affords me the ability on the record to negotiate contracts as needed to execute these repairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moved.
Capture that?
I have a move first and who seconded?
I heard
Second.
I moved it.
I'll second Susie's motion.
All right, we have a first and a second to approve Bill's flexibility to negotiate contracts for dealing with the rubber dam, which way it should go. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. And I'll keep everybody posted as that goes, but again, big hurdle, permission. We have a lot of power right now.
Hey, gotta be done.
Staying with electric, but talking about the new facility, I have a new proposed timeline I'm gonna pass down, if you can each take one. So, we kind of been back and forth on this. First, the good news, we have received our state of Vermont wastewater permit. We have received our local. Okay, so you're good to go then?
It is going, yes.
All right, the board's good to go?
Yep.
Okay.
I got the post out.
So again, we have the DRB permit, we're good to go there. We have the state of Vermont wastewater permit, we're in the queue for the stormwater permit. So that's the last of our state or local permits. We just got the long-awaited and required geotechnical engineering report, and that essentially was kind of a last hurdle for determining that we wouldn't have to do anything special for the foundation. You know, they didn't find quicksand or anything where we got 12 feet of substructure or anything like that brought in. So that looked fairly positive. The experts have that now. So what it came down to is this new timeline that you have in front of you. They went back and forth, and at one point they thought it would be much more cost-effective and impact the time in a positive way if we proceeded through KAS, our environmental engineer, and went and did the soil mitigation now. Since then, they revisited that, and there were multiple things on the last meeting that were identified as being redundant if we did it that way. So it is much more cost-effective to wait, bid everything together, and do all of the work and have that be part of the sub cost over there in the spring. So the timeline is, as you see in front of you, it is to bid over the winter, get everything ready to go, and break ground on or about May 1st, ending in April of 2027. The the design development review process, Connor came here and said things generally decrease in cost, shaved over $500,000 off the cost of the original. Of course, there are some other areas where we anticipate that the scope might increase, so it's really good to have that little bit of savings, but it'll get shaved even further, and hopefully they like this better, they being Connor Contracting now, because they think they'll get a much more aggressive bid over the winter, people lining up in the queue to have a nice first job set up for spring. In particular, the concrete, it's right off the highway, you can't get it, it's a flat site. This is about as easy as you can get as it relates to that. So that's kind of the update there, and that's where we're at. Sticking with electric and water.
Bill?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Of course.
What's KAS's status now? Are they done or are
KES,
they?
no. So we are waiting final state of Vermont cap plan, which shouldn't be too long. That's the other thing, there's nothing fast about the state of Vermont. They're overworked and understaffed. So, but we're confident now in particular that we can get through. So you notice though, near the end is KAS, they get the cap back, they got to edit. There is a public comment period. So we wouldn't be able to do anything till November anyway. So we now have all of that time to then include that in the bid package, because they'll know definitively what they have to do. We also think it's an advantage because there is going to be a better defined pool of money in all likelihood for cleanup. And so remember, potentially, we're on the hook for 20% of all mitigation costs, which is about $250,000 total, 20% of that.
So
That's part of the project cost.
their final report is not going to be around till the 1st of October?
That's correct. Yep.
Not too far away.
No, not too far away. So it's slow and steady, but it's progressing, and it's progressing nicely, and everybody's pretty positive about the project. So, other questions about the facility? Okay. AMI, so advanced metering infrastructure for both electric and water meters. We're contracting with A. Cooper Mechanical. We are well over 300 meters installed to date, so we're making progress. So again, as a reminder, there's only about 1,550 water customers that we have. So we're getting there. We anticipate that the bulk of those will be done this year, soon. And then electric meters, there are days where everybody in the electric department is doing meters. Today, for example, because of competing interest, we could only do one crew of 2 to do it. But if everybody does it, we can do nearly a route in a day, 150 meters. So these are 3 to 5 minutes. These are nothing like the water meters where it's
Hole in the
much more
pan,
labor
swapping a
intensive. So that's going well. We still have some software connectivity, reading glitches.
That's the nice.
Want to call them glitches?
That's a nice way to put it.
Glitches.
Software interface, never fun, very problematic,
Very stressful. For
very stressful for
people
the,
trying to make things work.
yes. If you come in, anybody in the front office that's dealing with this, and Lori is one of the primary
She's like
ones.
99% of what's dealing with it.
Say hi to her, give her a hug, buy her something, because this is
Good ways to go.
it's impactful for sure.
Yeah.
So, and then the good news end, we had a really, really good panel. So we interviewed for the open line maintainer position. Any one of them could have done the job. That's how hard of a decision it was, because they're all coming in, they're all coming right out of the line maintainer school. They're all young, they're all aggressive. So honestly, the goal is you try as a board to pick the one candidate who you think will call Swanton Electric home for a career. It's an impossible task, but that's the goal. So a young man named Carter Abel out of Milton was selected for the position pending background. He'll start the job on August 18th.
Nice.
So that's, that one's good. That's under wraps. Any other questions about electric? Okay, a couple more quick ones. So water, we've been having a very persistent nagging alarm issue resulting in call-outs. Well, they finally found the culprit. They fixed it, so hopefully that will alleviate some of the call-out pressure on them. It was coming in sometimes as a fire alarm. It was a glitch in the system that we believe has been rectified. They've been doing some safety alterations. They did some work on the stairs on top of the reservoir so they can access that more easily. And overall, the plant's running well. Normal upgrades that they have to do. Moving on to wastewater, the project is continuing. There's still issues. There's still a few issues that need to be resolved related to the new filter building with the steel and the concrete. They're not getting along so well. So they got to figure that out. That is again between the contractor and the engineer. The clarifiers are being worked on now, so that's significant. They had to bring their big crane in, take the dome off, take all the guts out of one clarifier. About 24,000 pounds of metal that gets removed. So then they clean that, pressure wash it. They have to do a little bit of concrete work on each side to meet the needs of the next platform, but they'll install that, reuse the dome, all electric, then go to the next dome and repeat, next clarifier and repeat. So that's the priority over there right now, in addition to the filter building. Same back order as the rest of the world, simple things. Windows taking forever. For the other building, it's just you can't side till you have windows, and windows are on back order. So, but they're making progress. Other than that, it's the same story, right? 42 full-time employees, 2 openings in the police department. So we need a couple of interested candidates to come in and take care of that.
That's why Damon didn't show, because Chief was here.
Maybe, yeah, maybe I was pressuring too much every time.
Maybe.
You can't handle that pressure. So that's all that I have at this point. Except for executive session, we do have a need for that.
What's it for? Contract, legal, personnel, what are we doing?
It's
of
all
it?
legal.
All right, number 11, any other necessary business?
Just gonna give a shout out for the car show. What an
Well done.
awesome day we had. 189 vehicles. The 2 top winners, the best of show and the Chamber Choice Awards, were a very difficult decision this year. Took the 2 judges a good solid hour to figure out which ones were gonna be the top 2. But just a fantastic day, and the only job I have from now on is making sure we get good weather.
Yeah.
So
Right.
You're doing pretty good at that.
I'm getting pretty good at it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just want to thank the community. Heard a lot of good feedback from a lot of the participants. Favorite show in the state, in New England. We had one lady come in from Virginia.
Yeah.
One lady from California. She winters in California, summers here. So she brought her vehicle up. So it was just a fantastic day. I mean, I just couldn't have. I mean, just perfect.
Every once in a while we get one.
Yeah, 189 vehicles.
That's awesome.
Yep. Great. So, and a lot of foot traffic this year. A lot of foot traffic.
Yep.
Spoke to a couple of the businesses, and they said people were, like Cody's. They were out there looking out the window saying, what's that out there? And like, what do you mean what's out there? It's a car. It's cars in the park, it's a car show. So, but people came, they ate, they went over, they looked, families came in. I mean, it was just a great event for the community. So.
And I'd like to thank everybody who came out for the block party. That
Yeah.
was good event. We had a good time.
Yep.
Well attended.
Yep.
Good.
The weather held off for that too.
It did.
Yeah.
That's, I told you, told the board that you're the one that planned it.
Got it out of the way early.
Yep. And from now on, he's planning block party too.
Great.
That's how you guarantee good weather. I'm just
I don't know what it is.
saying.
It's a good thing.
Right, so,
All right,
and then just a shout out for National Night Out next
that's
Tuesday night
Next
Oh,
Tuesday.
from 5 to 8 or 5:30 to 8:30, I'm not sure which. But please come out and enjoy a free event. There'll be live music, free food. Brings everybody out anyway. So,
Courtesy of TBI.
courtesy of TDI, Swanton PD, and a whole bunch of other people.
Nice.
That's all I have.
Swan Pond is filled
Yeah.
now. The birds are in there, and I'm thinking they're loving it. They had a few glitches in the process, I'm sure. I appreciate TDI sticking with it, and of course Brennan's initiated. They put and Suzanne Washburn, and in general the chamber, they stuck with it, and I think they filled the pond up the day of the block party.
Did.
Because the swans were in the pen, the block party night, so they were still getting their feet wet, so
Yeah.
to speak, so. But yeah, it looks nice.
It looks
Just have to
really nice.
complete the fence across the back, and be good to go.
I heard the fence is on back order with the windows.
Everything's
Oh,
on back
that's
order.
it. I saw that.
Yeah.
If you ever show up, fence up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's the end of any other necessary business? Yep. All right, number 12, executive session.
I move that we finally enter into executive session for the trustees to receive confidential legal information for which the premature disclosure of it to the general public would clearly place the trustees and others at a substantial disadvantage.
I'll second.
All right, got a first and a second to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carried.
I know,
Thank you very
right?
much for